Welcome back to the deep dive. We have a stack of research today that I honestly think is going to change the way some of you sleep at night.
In a good way, hopefully.
In a good way. Or at least change the way you stare at the ceiling at 3:00 a.m. worrying about your career.
Ah, yes. The 3:30 a.m. career panic. I know it well.
We all do. And we are tackling something that creates this very specific, very universal kind of existential dread. And I don't care if you are a C-suite executive with 20 years of experience or if you're a fresh graduate with just a diploma and a dream.
It hits everyone.
It does.
Mhm.
It's that moment when you sit down in front of a blank screen, the cursor is just blinking at you like a heartbeat, and you have to somehow summarize your entire life, your personality, your late nights, your victories, your struggles onto a single sheet of paper.
The resume.
The resume.
Mhm.
It's the universal professional nightmare. It's that feeling of looking at a job description and thinking, I can do this. I know in my bones I can do this.
Mhm.
But then you look at your own document, your own history on paper, and you feel this massive disconnect. You look at it and think, I'm qualified for everything, but on paper, I look like I'm qualified for nothing.
It's paralysis. Absolute paralysis. And it stems from a fundamental misunderstanding of what that document actually is.
Right.
Most people, even very smart, very accomplished professionals, they view the resume as a biography. They think it is the story of me.
Right. It's a timeline. I was born, I went to school here, then I did this task for 3 years, then I did that task, and here I am. It's chronological, it's factual, and it's usually incredibly dry.
Painfully dry. And that is the trap. Today, we are going to flip that logic entirely.
Okay.
We're diving into a strategy called Target Job Deconstruction, or TJD for short. We're pulling this from a fascinating section of Knock 'em Dead Resumes, specifically Chapter 2, which focuses on the psychology of the hiring process.
A psychology of it, not just the formatting.
Exactly. And the core argument here is going to feel a little uncomfortable at first. The argument is, your resume isn't about you.
Okay, let's unpack this immediately because that sounds intuitively wrong. If my name is at the top in bold 14-point font and it lists my phone number and my experience, how is it not about me?
It's about the customer.
The customer.
And in this transaction, the employer is the customer.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones with the wallet. They're the ones making a purchasing decision.
So I'm the product.
You are the solution they are looking to buy. And the source material is brutally honest about this dynamic. It says, quote, your customer knows what he wants. And if you want to make the sale meaning, get the interview, you have to stop writing what you want to say about your life.
And start writing exclusively what they need to hear.
That's it. That is the entire game.
So we're moving from a mindset of, here are my duties and responsibilities, which is what everyone does, to here is how I solve your specific pain.
Precisely. And the beauty of this deep dive and why I'm so excited about this one is that this isn't just about formatting. We're not going to talk about font sizes or margins or whether you should use a photo.
That's all surface level.
It's window dressing. This is a psychological shift. By the end of this hour, we want to help you deconstruct a job posting so effectively that you realize you're actually more qualified than you thought you were.
That is the part I love. Because so many of us walk around with these huge reservoirs of skills that we don't even have names for. We just do them. It's muscle memory.
Right. You don't think about it.
And because we can't name them, we can't sell them.
Exactly. We are going to give you the translation key today, the Rosetta Stone for your own career.
I love that. Okay, so let's start with the trap. The source material calls this the Swiss Army knife problem. I feel like I've been guilty of this. You want to show you can do everything. I can code. I can write copy. I can make coffee. I can juggle. I can fix the printer.
And what happens when you hand someone a Swiss Army knife when they need to perform open heart surgery?
It's clunky. You've got a corkscrew poking you in the hand while you're trying to use the scalpel. It's the wrong tool.
It's completely ineffective. The Swiss Army knife resume is the most common mistake candidates make. And it stems from fear. It's FOMO, fear of missing out.
Right.
You're sitting there thinking, well, what if I don't mention that I know how to use Photoshop? They might not hire me for this accounting role, which sounds completely absurd when we say it out loud.
But we do it. We hedge our bets.
We all do it.
We try to be good enough for 10 different jobs. We think if I cast a wide net, I'll catch something.
And as a result, you look perfect for none of them. You end up being a master of nothing.
Just a jack of all trades.
And the source makes a very, very strong distinction here. Employers are not hunting for generalists. In this economy, and specifically with how modern applicant tracking systems work, they are hunting for what the author calls human lasers.
Human lasers. I like that image. It sounds intense.
It is intense, but it's accurate. Think about the hiring manager. They have a specific pain point, a specific bleeding neck, if you will, in their department.
Something is broken, and it's costing them money or time.
Every single day. They need someone with specific skills to stop that bleeding. Now, if you come in saying, I can fix bleeding necks, but I also do landscaping and interpretative dance, you dilute your message.
It makes you look unfocused.
It makes you look desperate. And more importantly, it completely confuses the database. We have to talk about the reality of the technology here.
Right, because a human isn't the first, let's call it reader, of your resume anymore. It's
Yeah.
a bot.
It's an algorithm, an applicant tracking system, or ATS. And if you are a generalist, you are using a smattering of keywords from 5 different industries. The algorithm looks at that and says, relevance, low. It can't figure out what box to put you in.
So it puts you in the no box.
It puts you in a digital trash can. But a human laser, that resume hits the exact frequency the employer is tuning into. It's packed with the right terms.
Yeah.
The algorithm sees it and says, relevance, high. And that's what gets you to a human.
But this is scary. I mean, let's be real. It feels like closing doors. If I decide, okay, I am going to be a project manager, and I take off all my sales experience from my resume, am I not limiting myself? Am I not throwing away good experience?
You are limiting your distractions. You are not limiting your opportunities. You are sharpening your impact.
Okay.
Look, the source says you have to settle on a single target job title. This is the prerequisite. It is step 0. You cannot write a single word of your resume until you know exactly what job you are writing it for.
So no more generic resumes that you just blast out to 50 different companies.
Absolutely not. That is the definition of the Swiss Army knife approach. That is the spray and pray method. And it has a notoriously low success rate.
That's what most people do, though.
That's what most people are taught to do.
Yep.
The strategy here is to build a primary resume for the one job you can absolutely nail. The one where if you walked in tomorrow, you'd be the boss's favorite employee by lunchtime.
The job you were born to do, or at least the job you are most ready for right now.
That's the one. Once you have that strong core, that human laser resume, then you can start thinking about adapting it for other things. But you don't start with adaptability. You start with focus. Pure, unapologetic focus.
Okay, so we've accepted the philosophy, the customer is king, we are not generalists, we are lasers, we have picked our target. Now, how do we actually do this? Because the source material outlines a very specific 7-step process. It's almost scientific.
It is scientific. It's a methodology. It's called Target Job Deconstruction, or TJD, and it starts with research. Step 1 is intelligence gathering.
Which sounds very CIA, very clandestine.
It is, but it's all public information. The instruction is simple. Go out and find 6 to 10 job postings for your target role.
Wait, what? 6 to 10? Why not just one really good one from, say, your dream company? Or why not 50?
Because one job posting is an anecdote. It's a single data point.
Yeah.
And 50 is noise. You'll drown in the data. If you look at just one posting for a marketing manager, you might see a weird requirement like, must be an expert in underwater basket weaving. If you base your entire resume on that one posting, you're skewing your whole professional profile toward an outlier.
You're optimizing for a quirk, for one hiring manager's weird preference.
Exactly. But if you look at 10 postings from 10 different companies, different industries, different sizes, and you see SEO optimization in all 10 of them.
That's a pattern. That is the truth of the market.
That is the truth. So we're looking for the common denominator. We are looking for the market standard. You need a statistically significant sample size to separate the nice-to-haves from the non-negotiables.
Okay, so I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Indeed, I'm on company career pages, and I'm gathering these 6 to 10 postings. And they don't have to be jobs I'm actually applying for right now, right?
No, not necessarily. In fact, it's often better if they aren't, so you don't get emotionally attached to the outcome. This isn't about applying yet. This is purely research. You are a detective scraping data from the crime scene.
Okay, I've got my second postings copied and pasted. Step 2 is the war room.
Yes. You need a dedicated document. Do not try to do this in your head.
I would definitely try to do this in my head.
And you would fail. Don't try to do this on sticky notes. Open a fresh document. This is your lab. You are going to paste all those job descriptions, one after the other, into this single document. It's going to look messy. It's going to be a wall of chaos. That's okay?
We're embracing the chaos. Just a giant wall of text.
For now. Because step 3 is where we start to create order. Step 3 is title optimization.
This is interesting because job titles are all over the place these days. You can be a customer success manager at one place and a client happiness guru at another.
Exactly. And if you put client happiness guru on your resume, the database at a conservative bank is going to have no idea what to do with you. It'll probably flag it as spam.
It sounds like a made-up job from a sitcom.
It does. So in step 3, you analyze the titles across your 6 to 10 postings. You literally just look at them. What is the most common standard industry term? Maybe 3 of them say account executive, 2 say sales manager, 1 says business development rep, and 1 says revenue ninja.
Please, for the love of all that is good, don't be a revenue ninja.
Don't be a revenue ninja. You look at that cluster and you realize, okay, the industry standard here is clearly account executive. That is the title you use at the very top of your resume, right under your name.
So this is my target job title. This becomes the headline.
It's the headline.
Even if that wasn't my actual previous title, what if my last company called me a relationship specialist?
It doesn't matter what your last company called you. This is about what your next company is looking for. We're
Right.
talking about your target job title, the header of your resume. This tells the reader, and again, the algorithm immediately, this is what I am. This is the box you should put me in. It frames everything that follows.
It gives them a lens to read the rest of the document through.
Precisely. If I see account executive at the top, I am immediately reading your bullet points looking for sales achievements, quotas, and client wins. If I see project manager, I'm looking for timelines and budgets and methodologies. You are controlling the narrative before they even read the first sentence.
That's powerful. It's like setting the stage for a play.
It is. Now, once we have the title, we move to step 4. And this is where the real detective work begins. We need to decode the language of the job descriptions themselves.
The keywords.
The keywords, but not just buzzwords. We are looking for the hard skills. These are the tangible, teachable abilities. And this source material has a great rule of thumb here, the 6 out of 6 rule.
Okay, what's that?
It means if you have 6 job descriptions in your war room and a skill or requirement appears in all 6 of them, it is absolutely critical.
If it appears in all of them, it's mandatory.
It is non-negotiable. It is the price of admission. These are the terms that determine whether your resume even gets seen by a human eye.
So if I'm looking at project management roles and every single one mentions agile methodology, and I don't have the word agile on my resume.
You are invisible.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're the best project manager in the world. It doesn't matter if you've been using agile principles for a decade without calling it that. If the computer is programmed to filter for the word agile and you don't have it, you are in the digital trash bin. End of story.
That is terrifying, but also, in a weird way, liberating. Because it takes the guesswork out. It's not a mystery anymore.
That's the whole point. It stops you from guessing what they want. They are telling you what they want. They are screaming it in all caps in the requirements section. You just have to listen.
So this process is about defluffing your resume. You strip away the stuff that only appears in one posting, the weird outliers.
Right.
And you double down. You make sure you emphasize the stuff that appears in all of them.
You are aligning yourself with the market reality, not your own perception of your skills. You are speaking the market's language.
Okay. This makes a ton of sense.
And this brings us to step 5. And if the listeners take nothing else away from this entire deep dive, I want them to focus on step 5. This is the magic trick. This is the core of the whole strategy.
I'm ready.
This is where you turn a boring requirement into a compelling solution. The step is called Identify Problems to Solve.
Identify problems to solve, okay?
Yes, this is the core motivational pivot. Up until now, we've just been listing words. Agile, SEO, project management. Now we're going to breathe life into them. The prompt is simple. For every single one of those critical requirements you identified in step 4, you ask yourself this question. What specific problem would I need to identify, prevent, or solve in that role?
Okay, let's unpack this with an example because this is big. Let's take a common, boring one. A phrase you see on a million resumes. Let's say the requirement is inventory management. It's a boring phrase. It's a duty.
Right. It's totally passive.
Right.
If you just put responsible for inventory management on your resume, you are telling me what you did. You are not telling me how well you did it, or more importantly, why it mattered to the business.
So how do we deconstruct that? Using the question, what problem does inventory management solve?
Exactly. Ask the question. What goes wrong with inventory? What keeps the warehouse manager or the CFO awake at night regarding inventory?
Okay, well, running out of stock. Having empty shelves when a customer wants to buy something.
Stockouts. That's a huge problem. That's lost sales because you don't have the product. That's direct revenue loss. What else?
Having the opposite problem, having too much stock. Stuff just sitting in the warehouse, collecting dust, maybe even expiring or going out of style.
Perfect. That's excess carrying costs. Capital is tied up in stuff that isn't selling. It's obsolescence. What else? Shrinkage, theft, or loss or damage.
Right.
So you see, inventory management isn't just counting boxes.
Yeah.
The problem you solve is preventing stockouts to ensure revenue continuity, or reducing carrying costs by optimizing turnover, or minimizing shrinkage by implementing better tracking systems.
Oh, wow. Do you see the difference? Responsible for inventory management is passive. Reduced carrying costs by 15% through optimized inventory turnover is a hero story. It has a number, it has an action, and it has a result.
It's a solution. You are no longer a person who does a task. You are a person who solves a business problem. You are a problem solver. And that is what people pay money for.
This is the part that I think really helps people realize their hidden skills. Because we tend to minimize what we do, especially in support roles. We say, oh, I just answered the phones.
Let's deconstruct that. Let's use the TJD method right now. The task is answered phones.
Yeah.
What is the problem being solved?
Well, angry customers call. So calming them down.
Crisis de-escalation.
Yeah.
Customer retention. What else?
People call with questions. Giving them the right information so they don't get lost or go to a competitor.
Information accuracy. Data integrity. Preventing communication breakdowns.
Potential new customer calls. Making sure they talk to the right sales.
Lead qualification and revenue pipeline management. See, you weren't answering phones. You were retaining at-risk clients through effective crisis de-escalation and capturing new revenue opportunities through efficient lead qualification.
That sounds so much more impressive, but is it true?
Is.
Are you just puffing it up?
Is it untrue? Did you de-escalate crises with angry clients?
Yes, all the time.
Did you make sure a potential sales lead got to the right person so the company could make a sale?
Yes, of course.
Then it is the truth. We are not lying. We are not making things up. We are accurately describing the value of the work, the business impact.
That's the key word, value. We are so bad at articulating our own value.
Most people write resumes based on effort. I worked hard on this. I was very busy. Employers hire based on value. What did this do for the company's bottom line? Step 5 forces you to translate your effort into their value.
Let's try one more, maybe for someone in a more technical field, let's say. Web development. The duty is writes code.
Okay, writes code, that's the duty.
Right.
What's the problem a web developer solves?
Well, the website breaks. That's a big problem.
Downtime. Every minute the site is down is lost revenue, lost trust. So you prevent downtime. What else?
The website is slow. It takes forever to load a page.
High user bounce rate, lower Google ranking, lower conversion rates. People give up and leave. So you solve for speed and user experience.
The website gets hacked.
Huge one. Security vulnerabilities, data breaches, loss of customer data, lawsuits. So you are not just writing JavaScript. You are optimizing page load times by 30% to decrease user bounce rate, or fortifying system architecture to prevent critical data breaches.
You are connecting your hands on the keyboard to the company's wallet, to their biggest fears and their biggest goals.
Precisely. You are showing them the money. And this also does something else magical, doesn't it? It generates your interview answers.
It pre-writes them.
Completely. Because when you get to the interview, they're going to ask those behavioral questions.
Yeah.
Tell me about a time you handled a difficult situation.
Right. STAR method questions.
Yes. And if you've done this exercise, you already know the answer. Well, I know from my research that client retention is a key problem you're trying to solve in this role. Let me tell you about a time I de-escalated a major client crisis that was about to cost us a 6-figure account.
You're speaking their language before they even ask the question. You're showing that you understand their business.
You are syncing your brain with their needs. And think about the confidence this gives you. It changes your entire internal monologue. Instead of walking into an interview thinking, I hope I'm good enough, I hope they like me, you walk in thinking, I know exactly what is broken here, and I know exactly how to fix it.
That is a massive confidence shift from a supplicant to a consultant.
It's transformative, and it works for any role. Coding. You aren't just writing Java. You are preventing system crashes that cost the company $10,000 an hour. Teaching. You aren't just grading papers. You are optimizing student performance outcomes through data-driven feedback. It's universal.
I love this. It makes me want to go rewrite my resume right now, but we're not done. There are more steps.
We're not done.
We've covered the hard skills, the keywords, the problems, but there's a human element too, right? Step 6 and step 7.
Right. The soft skills, or as I like to call them, the X factor. Hard skills get you found in the database. Soft skills get you hired in the room.
Okay, so how do you deconstruct a personality? That seems a lot harder than deconstructing a technical skill.
It is more abstract, but the method is similar. Step 6 is identify the behavioral profile of success. The exercise is to visualize the absolute best person you have ever known in this target role.
So not me, but someone I admire.
Right. Maybe it's a mentor, a former colleague, a boss you loved, or even a fictional character who embodies the role perfectly.
Okay, I'm picturing the best project manager I ever worked with. Her name was Sarah. She was calm, just unflappable. When everything was on fire, she was the calmest person in the room.
Okay, great. Calm under pressure.
What else? She never blamed anyone. She just focused on fixing it. She took ownership.
So, solution-oriented
Hmm.
takes accountability. These are traits. These are behaviors. Now look at your resume. Does it convey those traits? Or is it just a dry list of software you know?
Probably not if I'm just listing managed budget and led team meetings.
Right. So maybe you rephrase a bullet point. Instead of led team meetings, you write, fostered a collaborative environment to navigate high-stakes project pivots with a clear communication to all stakeholders.
Ah, that signals calm under pressure and communication.
It's showing, not just telling. You want them to feel that vibe from the paper. And then we have step 7, the flip side of the coin. Identify the behavioral profile of failure.
Visualize the worst person you've ever worked with. Oh, I have a list. This is the easy part.
We all do. Think about that person. What did they do that drove everyone crazy and made projects fail?
They missed deadlines constantly. They hid bad news until it was a complete catastrophe. They were defensive. If you gave them feedback, they'd get angry. And they blamed everyone else.
Professional suicide is what the source calls those behaviors. So you look at that list. Defensive, hides information, unreliable, blames others. And you make damn sure your resume signals the absolute opposite of those things.
So if the bad employee hid information, I want to go out of my way to emphasize transparency and proactive reporting in my bullet points.
Exactly. You are inoculating yourself against their fears. Every single hiring manager has been burned by a bad hire. They are terrified of hiring another one. It's their biggest fear. If you can subtly signal through your language, I am the opposite of your nightmare, you become an incredibly attractive candidate.
It's like psychological warfare, but for getting a job.
It's empathy. It's just deep empathy. It's understanding the customer's pain. The customer's afraid of hiring a slacker, a drama queen, or a ghost who disappears when there's a problem. You are reassuring them on paper that you are the reliable, professional solution.
So when we combine all this, the keyword analysis from step 4, the problem solving from step 5, and this behavioral profile from step 6 and 7, we get a holistic picture.
You get the target, a complete 360-degree blueprint of the person they are desperate to find. And now, the final part of the process is simple. You just hold your own resume up against that target.
The moment of truth.
The moment of truth.
And this brings us to the reality check. Because I can hear the listeners thinking, okay, this is a great exercise, but what if I do this analysis and I realize I don't have it? What if I'm missing half the keywords? What if I'm not that unflappable project manager?
That is a valid fear, a very real fear. But the source offers a very comforting metric, and it's called the 70% rule.
Okay, tell me about the 70% rule. This sounds important.
It is. The source is very clear on this. You do not need to be a 100% match to the job description. If you possess about 70% of the key skills and attributes identified in your TJD, you are a viable, competitive candidate.
Really? Just 70%, that's a C- in school.
Think about it from the employer's perspective. If you were a 100% match, you've already done this exact job. You'd probably be overqualified. You'd get bored in 6 months and leave.
That's a good point. There's no room for growth.
Exactly. Employers know this. They want someone who can do the core of the job right away. That's the 70%. And who is eager and capable enough to grow into the other 30%. That 30% gap is where the excitement is for both you and them.
So perfection is not the goal. Relevance is the goal.
Precisely. Being a 70% match on the human laser targeted resume is infinitely better and more effective than being a 10% match on 20 different Swiss Army knife resumes.
But what if I'm at 40%? What if I do the TJD and I have this crushing realization, whoa, I am woefully underqualified for my dream job? Do I just give up?
No,
Oh.
absolutely not. Then the TJD becomes something else. It stops being an application tool and it becomes a roadmap.
A syllabus for your career.
Yes, a personalized development plan. Instead of feeling rejected and demoralized, you now have a crystal clear checklist. You can look at it and say, okay, the market requires these 10 skills for a senior marketing manager. I have 4 of them down cold. The other 6, that's what I need to learn this year.
It removes all the guesswork from your career growth. You aren't just taking random courses on LinkedIn Learning because they look interesting. You are strategically learning the specific things that the market is demanding and willing to pay for.
It turns that vague, anxious feeling of, I wish I could get that job, into a concrete plan. Here is the step-by-step plan to get that job in the next 18 months.
That is incredibly empowering. It takes the mystery and the luck out of it and replaces it with strategy.
And that's really the mission we talked about at the beginning. It's about moving from a passive victim of the job market to an active strategist. The before and after is profound. The source mentions a few examples, like Jayatiri Mukube and Nancy, real people who went from these generic lists of duties
Story of a me resume.
to a focused, keyword-rich, problem-solving marketing document. And the result wasn't just a better-looking resume. The result was interviews. The phone started ringing.
Because at the end of the day, that's the only metric that matters, isn't it? Does the phone ring? Do you get the conversation?
Does the customer buy? Does your marketing document generate a lead? That's all a resume is designed to do. Get you the interview. Nothing more, nothing less.
So let's recap the journey we've been on. Because it's a lot, but it's a very logical progression.
It is 7 steps to resume sanity.
Step 1. Intelligence gathering. Get your 6-10 job postings. You're a detective looking for patterns, not an applicant just yet.
Step 2. The war room. Put them all in one big document. Embrace the initial mess.
Step 3. Title optimization. Look at all the titles and find the most common, generic, industry standard one. Don't be a guru or a ninja.
Step 4. Keywords. Use the 6 out of 6 rule. Identify the non-negotiable hard skills that act as the gatekeepers for the ATS bots.
Step 5. The deep dive. This is the big one. Turn those requirements into problems to solve. This is where you find your hidden value. I don't just do X, I solve Y for the business.
Step 6 and 7. Behavioral profiling. Visualize the ideal candidate and the nightmare candidate. Weave in the language of the soft skills that prove you are the former and not the latter.
And finally, the application and the reality check. Hold your experience up to that blueprint. Aim for the 70% rule. If you have it, apply with confidence. If you don't, use that blueprint as your study guide for the future.
Simple, strategic,
Yeah.
and incredibly effective.
You know what I love most about this as we wrap up is that it forces you to look at yourself through a different lens. We are so used to looking at ourselves from the inside out. How do I feel? What do I want to tell them? This entire process forces you to look from the outside in. What do I look like to the market? What value do I bring to the table from their perspective?
And that is a healthy exercise whether you are looking for a job or not. It's just a healthy professional practice.
That brings me to my final thought. We always like to leave the listener with something to chew on, something to take with them.
Sure.
We've talked about this entire strategy in the context of getting a new job. But what if you applied this to your current job?
Oh, that's interesting. Tell me more.
Imagine you sit down this weekend and you do a TJD for the role you currently hold. You find 6 to 10 postings for a similar role at other companies. You identify the keywords, the problems to solve, the behavioral profile of success.
Okay.
And then you ask yourself the hard question, am I actually solving these problems every day? Am I acting like the ideal candidate for my own job?
That is a powerful and maybe slightly terrifying exercise. Because if the answer is yes, and you can now prove it with the language of value we discussed, I prevented stockouts, I retained high-value clients, I optimized the workflow, then you have just written the script for your next performance review.
Exactly. You are walking in and asking for a raise because you've been there another year. You are walking in and negotiating a raise because you are demonstrably solving the expensive problems that keep the boss up at night.
That changes the entire dynamic of the conversation. You aren't a cost center asking for more money. You are a high-return investment showing your ROI.
It's a complete mindset shift, and it all starts with deconstruction, breaking down their needs to build up your own value.
Break it down to build it up. I like that.
Thank you for diving deep with us today. I really hope this helps you look at that blank page with a little less dread and a lot more strategy.
Go be a human laser.
See you next time.